Good evening. So today is September the 9th. It is Monday, beginning of a new week here. Haven't been doing videos lately, been trying to work on a bunch of tools and then been working a lot on the newsletter. The newsletter we've been sending to members. We just recently released it to the public. And, there's a lot of different things that we cover in there day to day. There's some things that we put in here and there, but really proud of it. Got to a point where we started releasing that to people. So been working on that every day just to make sure that that's polished and that members are getting value out of it every day. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit at the end of the video. And then that's part of the reason why I'm doing these videos again, is to highlight what happened in the newsletter, how the day played out. And then also I love doing them for me to be able to review the end of the day in a very consistent manner. So I have the newsletter pulled up for this morning on Monday. And in the beginning of the newsletter, we always go over the previous day. And then we look at the day ahead, what's happened in the overnight session since the previous close. For today, APAC markets were softer, but European markets were stronger. They were all in the green. Then we had a couple stock events. We had the Apple event and some Boeing news and stuff like that. But then on to the trading plan. So this is Friday's session, this profile right here. We had a pretty bearish session on Friday. It was a total of 122 points all the way down to the put wall. Spoke about that in another video that we did on Wall Street Jesus channel on the Flow Show. And this is our overnight session. So let's see, let me break this out. So we can get a feeling for this is what the overnight session looked like. It just grinded higher all night. And so whenever we have a session like that, we look for inventory correction. We look for the potential, which happens, it appears more often than not, that we'll get some kind of inventory correction. And then it's a very nice thing to be able to judge. Sometimes it's worth waiting for that to happen, to be able to judge what are the buyers going to do. This is today's session right here. We'll just move this overnight. This is after the close today, after 1600 Eastern. Another thing about the open location, so we have the open location right here is in this red, in this green dot. So I'm going to pull up my drawing tools so we can see that a little better, but we can see the open right here. This is where the open was today. It just disappeared on me. It's going to be that way. Anyway, that's because I have my drawings hidden. That would help. All right, so this was the open today, and you can see where this white area is on this profile is the top of value. So that's where we opened up. Generally, if we open up in the top of value, we're looking for the potential for bulls to step in. And then with that, we have this overnight session that grinded higher. So we're looking for inventory correct. Those are opposing views, but they work together. So we look for bullishness. And we're aware of the potential for this to correct and look for places where maybe we have good entries in that case. So one of the areas that we were watching today, so we had this 70 area that we were watching right here, the 71. And then we also had this 90 area that we were watching. This is where we were looking for bulls to step in, basically a line in the sand for sellers. So let me pull in the scenarios. So scenario one, overlapping to lower value, one time framing down. That's if we have continuation, which is what makes sense, looking back at what the market has been doing. The first indication we're looking for is the inability to hold the overnight gains. So we quickly pushed up in A period, took the overnight pretty fast. And then in B period, we extended that. We didn't really get much pullback inside of it. We were watching a 70 area. And we were looking for 71 to 90. Let's see. It's a likely area where buyers start to step in. We saw that. If we fail to hold this area, then we can target Friday's low. And 5410 is the high time frame put wall. So initially, we got a little bit of squeeziness here, which I had mentioned here. Strength above 71 could lead to a short squeeze, potentially a trend day higher, potentially. And so we got an inventory correction, got a pretty decent pullback, time frame down a few periods. Buyers stepped in below where these singles were put in the overnight period. And then took us right back up to the highs where we were watching the 90 area. 5490s are a line in the sand for shorts. Above 5490, we could see additional buyers step in. We thought if this happened early in the session that we could potentially get a trend day. And it kind of started shaping up that way, but buyers just failed here above the 70 area the first time. So target 5515, we never could get above this 90. So those were our scenarios. Those are how they played out. Got a little bit of both of them. Just didn't really get a whole lot of range or value today. Fairly balanced inside of Friday's range. This giant range right here. We didn't have a lot of catalysts. That could have been part of it. We have, I believe, see, this is a calendar for this week, which is in this newsletter. Oh, here's tomorrow. What am I missing? Okay, we don't have much tomorrow. So it's on Wednesday that we have CPI. And then on Thursday we have PPI before they open. Earnings, we have Oracle. I had those after the close today. Not much on the recommendations, on the analyst recommendations. I believe I'm actually going to take those out. When we look at the GEX profile, where we're at in the GEX regime as far as GEX positioning, we're still in negative net gamma where we look for increased volatility. We had this 5,400 put wall, which we tested several times last week after we broke down from the 5,500 put wall finally. That's still a pretty strong area of support, and that's a important support for market structure as well. So if we look at the market structure, we're still down on the daily only, with the exception of NQ, which is down on the weekly as well. So we saw a little bit more strength out of tech today in NQ, which is promising. But the market structure is still mostly neutral because we're really only down on the day time frame. We didn't see a whole lot out of bulls today. We did close higher, but within a Friday's large range, so they didn't get a whole lot done. This isn't changing for tomorrow. And then this is the levels of downloads. There's a lot of value, in addition to what we're providing as far as the write-ups and the notes. But we have all these levels that you can download and put in your, TradingView, TOS. We have Sierra coming soon. And with Sierra, we're also going to have a live GEX updating in the platform. Along with Sierra, after that, we're going to work on Bookmap and MotiveWave, Edge Pro X. And then we also have the steam room levels, which are all these levels you see on my chart. You can put those in your platform as well. We have the CSV files, so if you want to use those in Excel to do your own, if you want to do your own back testing or whatever, or put them in some other platform, then you're welcome to do that here in the CSV files. And then the calendar file, it's one of my favorite things. Just click download this file, double click on it, and then it'll populate inside of Outlook, or this is Thunderbird that I use. It's also on my phone, and all these are set with 2-minute alerts. So, 2 minutes before CPI comes off, I get a calendar alert that comes up. Very, very nice. And we have the notes from the desk. I focus mostly on futures and commodities, so I don't get a chance to really look at what the market is doing. I mean, there's, 9,000 names or something that are traded every day in the U.S., and I don't have time to keep up with that. But fortunately, we have Jay and Ranch that are looking at that, and their analysis goes in here. And so we get a good idea of what they're thinking for the broader market, sweepers, swing trades, iron condors, all that kind of good stuff. Then we go into deeper dive on the previous day, how more in depth on the news releases or stock specifics, things of that nature, highlight treasury market and breadth and stuff like that. Fed watch, geopolitical stuff, whatever really comes into play that we think is important, but some people don't really care about. One of the things you'll notice with this newsletter is that we'll highlight certain parts of it. So, it's only about a 5-minute read, I think, if you go through and read this whole thing. But if if you're just wanting the gist of some of this, or certain sections you're just wanting the gist, then we highlight them for you. So just really get the most important parts out of those parts of the newsletter. So that's about it on the newsletter. Gex. We had Gex. This is a yes right here. And 5490 was the call wall for the majority of the day. So this was right here, our high day. That was also the level we were watching for, buyers to really step in. Our line in the sand for shorts. And the options market thought the same thing, right? So that's always great whenever we see that. And we also had the put wall down here at the low of day as well. So that's where they stepped in on that. Very valuable tool. That's what it did for us today. Other than that, just a brief review again of the session. We had 50 points of range, which is average and negative GEX. We had 1.2 million contracts that were traded. So that's also about average, maybe a little below average when we look at days like Friday, where it's 1.7 million. So it was a decent day. We had negative delta on the day. VIX was down, VVIX was down, NASDAQ VIX was down. All of the sectors were in the green with the exception of tech for a little bit of the day. Let's see, gold was higher on the day. CL was higher. Dollar was higher as well. So we're getting to an important point here on dollar. See if there's anything else. No. Yeah. No, that's pretty much it for this today. So again, a lot of this work is going into the newsletter every day to prepare our members and other people that maybe can't afford to be a part of the steam room yet. Now they have access to the highlights of the steam room. The stuff we're sending our members in the morning to prep, the highlights from what Jay and Ron and Lucci are saying every day. So you can see the things that really matter to them in the morning. Really valuable tool, and a fraction of the price for people to get a taste of the alpha inside the room, what we're doing, what we're looking at every day. And first 7 days is on us, so I encourage everybody to check it out. Definitely make my efforts, spend hours on this every day. We have a team of people that work on this, put this together every day, and get it in your inbox by about 8 a.m. Eastern. So I'll put a link down below. The link is wallstreetjesus.com/brief. But I'll put a link down in the description too. Check us out. Like I said, 7 days free, so there's not really any risk on it. And hope everybody has a good night, and we'll see you on the morning.